I think after this week, too, Brett Favre's going to be a little more in sync with his team, and they're going to be able to throw the ball a lot better.
Sure.
You know Adrian Peterson's always going to be there for you, so...
You need Berrien or Percy Harvin to step up. One of those two guys have to...
I think it has to be Berrien, because Harvin is a young player, and...
He's a little bit more explosive.
He is explosive, but at the same time, he's also had a lot of medical issues going on. I think Berrien, with his experience, he should be the one...
Berrien can stretch the defense. I mean, he's not very good, but he should be doing better than he is. And Favre should be targeting him.
He's a veteran, and he's been in the league a long time. He knows what to do, and he should be stepping up.
Well, for our next topic, let's just head over on down to the Steelers and how they're doing right now. They're 3-0. They've been doing phenomenal without Big Ben. But when Big Ben actually comes back, do you guys, think he's going to make a good return, bad return? What do you think he's going to lead them to potential Super Bowl number 7 for them?
I think when he first comes back, there might be a little stutter in the game. Him trying to get back in the swing of things. The first couple of games might be tough. But overall, I think they are going to make the playoffs. They're going to make a good push for the Super Bowl. I don't know that they're going to make it, but with their team, they have the talent that they can go very far into the playoffs. The only question is Big Ben going to be able to have the chemistry with his team like Charlie Batch does?
Well, it's not like Big Ben's just coming in this year. I mean,
no, I know.
I mean, he's had losing Holmes is going to be big. I think Big Ben losing Holmes is one of his favorite targets, huge. But I mean, if they're 3-0 with Charlie Batch, who's not a very good, accurate quarterback, throw Big Ben in there. I mean, he might be a little rusty after all the offseason issues. Take that out of there. You've seen what Michael Vick did with all those offseason issues. He's starting to come off strong. I think Big Ben can definitely take his team back. And if they're already 3-0, defense wins championships. Their defense is the best in the game. And they definitely are a playoff team.
That's debatable, but they are very, very
top
good.
5 at least. Top three. Top three.
But I'm looking at Big Ben like Brett Favre. Brett Favre missed all of training camp, so he didn't get the chemistry down with his team, and that's the biggest key. And with Big Ben not doing too much in the preseason, and on top of that missing the first 4 regular season games, it's going to be really tough.
He's going to be a little rusty, but I don't think it's anything.
Come playoff time, I don't think it's going to be a worry. I still don't think they're going to make.
All right, when Big Ben comes back, you're playing Big Ben over Charlie Batch.
Yeah.
If Charlie Batch is undefeated by the time Big Ben comes back, I want Big Ben leading my team.
Oh yeah, definitely. There's no question about that.
Obviously. So I mean, I'll take the risk. I mean, if Big Ben's completely rusty, they have a reliable backup in Charlie Batch to get you back. So
and you can't forget Rashard Mendenhall.
Rashard Mendenhall, yeah, I'm just going to carry that team already. Could break the record for that team in the
I think Ben needs to rely on him a lot more. Because, just to get back in the swing of things.
Yeah, true. At least the first couple of games.
Weeks 5 through 8, I think Mendenhall top running back.
Possibly.
All right, well, some other surprising teams, have been, Chicago, Tampa Bay, Kansas City. What do you think is, contributing to their success?
Coaching. Mike Martz in that Chicago offense is completely helping that team. Jay Cutler needs a team that with the West Coast offense to get players down the field. Johnny Knox. If you look at their roster, Devin Aramashadu, Devin Hester, Johnny Knox. They're not big name receivers, but he's getting the job done because of Mike Martz's offense to spread the field to everybody. Mike Martz eliminates the running game, which is huge. But Matt Forte can catch the ball out of the backfield.
Well, the big thing about that passing too is the fact that they don't have that number 1 guy to go to. So they can go to whoever's open and not have anyone complain about it.
Exactly, just like Kyle Lorton in Denver.
Exactly.
And I'm looking at the Chiefs. I think they're getting very lucky. I mean, they're obviously not. If anyone says they could go undefeated, they're nuts. I look for them to be 9-7 best, maybe 8-8.
I don't know about that. I mean, I think they could probably go 12-4.
Todd Haley might be the coach of the year so far. Obviously, he's a new coach. He knows what he's doing. That defense is looking pretty good. Brandon Flowers is a shutdown corner right now. Brandon Flowers is leading that defense. That offense with Jamal Charles, he's a bona fide number 1 running back. I thought he had a fluke year last year. I guess that's wrong. Matt Castle, I'm a Pats fan. I seen what he did. He couldn't lead the team to the playoffs with the Patriots offense. I don't think he can lead
He
the
didn't
team.
do that bad though.
He's not a passer. He's not a quarterback that'll rack up yards or anything
But
like that. But
he's a good leader.
He's
yeah.
a good leader.
I mean,
they got the weapons. They just needed the line's questionable. But I mean, you got Bo. I really like Tony Moeaki. If you see him last game, he made an excellent catch in the end zone. Tony Moeaki is a tight end. He's really good for them. Chris Chambers to open that team up, and Dexter McCluster, slot receiver. They're really loaded on offense. It's just a matter of Matt Castle can get enough time to find them.
I think the two teams that have surprised me the most, though, are Tampa Bay and Pittsburgh. I mean, nobody expected Pittsburgh to even have a good record at all. People expected them to be 1-2 or maybe even 0-3.
People expected to have a good record with Big Ben.
With Big Ben.
Yeah.
I'm saying without Big Ben these first 4 weeks, nobody expected them to be 3-0.
Exactly.
If you had told me before the season they'd be 3-0 at this point, I'd probably put $100 on saying you were wrong.
Mike Tomlin coming this season. I'm thinking Bill Belichick's one of the best coaches. Mike Tomlin's a great coach. Since he started, he's led them to winning records all along. I really like that team. If you look at Tampa Bay, they got a new coach too, Raheem Morris. He's really leading that team too.
What's up with their defense? I mean, the defense has stopped everybody just about.
Exactly. Last game it was a little shaky.
But
the first 2 games that was serious.
The first 2 games they were probably the best defense in the league.
I mean, if you look at their team, unlike Kansas City, they don't have a very good offense. I mean, I don't think you can rely on Cadillac Williams for that many yards in the backfield. The receiver's not that great.
Quarterback's not that great.
Well, Josh Freeman's he's definitely shown some promise.
He's solid, but he's never going to be a Pro Bowler.
He looks like he's
never going to be in the Hall of Fame. But he can carry that team.
He looks like he
enough for the defense to stretch.
I think Tampa Bay could surprise people in that division, but I don't see Kansas City or Tampa Bay making the playoffs, no matter how good that coach is.
Don't forget in the South too. Every team that's gone last in the division has made the playoffs in the last 10 years.
That's true.
So you never know.
I mean, that's kind of like the Manning curse. I mean, who cares? But
hey,
I mean, it's
Tom Brady
definitely a factor. Yeah.
So.
All right, moving on. Each week during the NFL season, we're gonna have our our top fantasy picks. Now, Mitch, who do you think are 2 solid, really good fantasy players for fantasy players everywhere? Who do you think are 2 solid people to play to start this week?
Well, I got 2. One might surprise people. I like Michael Vick. I like Michael Vick this week against Washington. Everybody has all the press on Donovan McNabb against Washington to see how he does. I think Vick's really leading that team. Kevin Kolb is really good. I like him for a team that's rebuilding, but I mean, the Eagles can win now. They have an experienced team. They need an experienced quarterback. You've seen how they were good with the mobile quarterback with McNabb in the future. Michael Vick's a prototype mobile quarterback. I think he's finding Deshaun Jackson the first game with Cobb wasn't very good. The next 2 games, he has 300 yards. I mean, he's finding Deshaun Jackson everywhere. I'm looking for Michael Vick to really break out this season. And I think he's obviously a candidate for comeback player of the year. And I think he's a solid. I think he's back to Atlanta form.
Didn't we have a question about that on Facebook?
Yes, we did. Ryan from Boston asked us our opinion on what we thought about Michael Vick.
Well, I mean, before Michael Vick went to jail, I mean, he was my favorite player in the NFL.
Definitely the funnest player to watch.
I mean, when I played Madden, I'd always base my quarterbacks on him. I love the running style of him. I love how
he's definitely a dynamic player.
I mean, he can throw the ball 40 yards downfield, or he can run the ball 40 yards downfield.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter. He can do it all.
When they got to the NFC Championship, when they had DVD, when they had Duckett, Dunn, and Vick, they were a really good running team. Vick was a terrific runner. I really like Vick, especially in Eagles, like I was saying. I can see Eagles possibly contending for a Super Bowl.
If you think about it too, what do people do in jail? They work out. They want to build muscle. They want to stand out. I'm not trying to say anything against people in jail or whatever. It's a tough place to be. So you're going to work out. You're going to get stronger. And I think Michael Vick has done that. And he's a lot stronger and he's a lot more level-headed than he was.
And like I said, I mean, Kevin Kolb, they gave him a chance. I think the best thing they can do is send Kevin Kolb to a team like the 49ers who are rebuilding.
That's actually a great point right
Kevin Kolb, I mean, you need a young quarterback to help you rebuild. Kevin Kolb is an inexperienced quarterback. Like I said, the Eagles are an experienced team. They can contend for the Super Bowl. Wipe Kevin Kolb out there, throw Vick in there. I think they can still contend for the Super Bowl. McCoy in the backfield. He looks like a really good running back. So I think Vic's going to do great. My other pick is Peyton Hillis. You saw he had a great game against Baltimore last week. I mean, but this week he's playing Cincinnati, one of the worst rushing defenses in the game. They gave 109 yards to the Patriots, 87 to the Ravens, 105 to Carolina, combined 105 a game. I think if you Cleveland, they have no offense. They have Peyton Hillis. Their number one receiver, Muhammad Massaquoi, had a total of 0 catches last week. I'm looking for Peyton Hillis to have a monster game against Cincinnati. Tons of carries. I know they're going to game plan for him, but I definitely think he's going to break out. And I'm looking for Peyton Hillis to rack up a lot of yards this week.
I completely love what you're saying, because if Peyton Hillis can get it done against the Baltimore Ravens,
yeah,
that's serious. It's a really good team.
For you, Brian?
I think probably the biggest player this week is going to be Ronnie Brown against the Patriots. The Patriots have always had a hard time with Miami, and to top it off, their running defense has gotten even worse, in my opinion, than they were last year.
Yeah, Ronnie Brown's a good pick.
Their rush defense has been pretty bad the last few years. Their pass defense is good, but their rush defense is terrible. Ronnie Brown has had a horrible season, and I think this is when he's going to break out.
Well, not to get a little off topic, but the pass defense does kind of suck too. I mean, you're looking at Devin McCourty. He looks like he could be really good, but who knows on the other side? They already demoted Darius Butler, and Kyle Arrington didn't look good at all.
But they still have Merriweather, Mayo. Their defensive line's solid.
The Patriots have let up 20-plus points in all 3 games.
Yep.
30 to the Bills, having a 38.
We'll come back to that later. But my second pick, I'm gonna have to go with Tony Gonzalez, tight end. He had a great week last week after people were doubting whether he still had it in him, and a lot of people saying, including you, are saying that it was just one good game. He probably won't be able to continue the season. I think he's going to look to prove that he can continue to be a top tight end in the league.
Well, Matt Ryan is a great quarterback, and you know they have Roddy White on the outside, but I mean, there's only so many times you can have their Roddy White because he's going to be double covered.
Exactly.
Tony Gonzalez is going to get some looks. I just think he's a little older. He's definitely slower.
He's older and slower, but he's still
on.
Great. You get the ball near him, he's going to catch it. He may not take off downfield anymore, but he's going to... I'm looking at maybe like 5 or 6 catches, 65 yards on a touchdown.
It's a solid pick. They got Michael Turner back there. He needs to get his touches too. Matt Ryan, I don't think he's a guy who cares about stats. He just wants his team to win.
But think about this too. What's the biggest bailout for a quarterback? It's their tight end. They can dump it off to their tight end if they're in trouble. Matt Ryan's still a young quarterback.
Well, yeah.
I just see it. I just see it being a good week for him.
For my 2 picks, first I picked Sean Green because I think he's gonna break out. Because he has ridiculous potential,
yep.
But LaDainian Tomlinson is right behind him, still proving that he can, he can run the ball. And for my second fantasy pick of the week it would have to be Austin Collie. So
that's a good pick.
What do you guys think about that? Do you think Austin Collie will let alone not only this week, but do you think he'll continue? Yeah. Do you think he'll continue to produce and put up big numbers?
That's a really good question. I think a major factor is Pierre Garçon. Pierre Garçon was a great receiver for them last year. He's hurt, so Collie had to step it up. He's doing a great job stepping up. I look at Collie. I mean, once Pierre Garçon comes back, I think his numbers are going to decline a little bit. But definitely, he's a starter every week. I think he could definitely have a potential for 70, 90 yards a game. A touchdown every other game. But if you look at Austin Collie, he reminds me a lot of Brandon Stokely. They're both the same height, they're both the same size, and you've seen how much Brandon Stokely helped Peyton Manning back in 2004 in his heyday. Austin Collie reminds me a lot back of him. I think if once Austin Collie, even with Pierre Garçon back, I think Austin Collie's still going to have a really good game.
Do you agree?
2 words, Peyton Manning.
Yes.
Yeah,
you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong.
Anyone
as much as anybody would love to, say otherwise, you really can't. It's Peyton Manning.
Anytime you have
He's a
Peyton
great
Manning throwing your
quarterback.
ball, I mean, you got.
You're going to put
They're
up
a
the
good
numbers.
fantasy pick.
You're going to put up the numbers.
And anytime you see Peyton Manning continually finding a guy, he gets more trust in the guy.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they're going to get more touches, and right now he trusts Austin Collie. Yeah, I like Austin Collie.